Hey everybody, I've got the flu, so I'm pretty hoarse and I apologize for that. With the power of the big lie, feminists have trained Western women to negatively stereotype men. But if turnabout really is fair play, then how would men negatively stereotype women? 1996, Bellevue, Washington. All women are child abusers. All women are coquettes, gold diggers, wimps, liars, leeches, psychosexual terrorists, sluts, backstabbing whiners. They're manipulative, vulgar, vamps, tramps, cheap dates, lazy mates, mechanically challenged, ill-tempered, ill-mannered, and anyone who isn't offended by these grossly sexist generalizations should be. Just as they should be offended when mainstream media and in 2015 blogs like Huffington Post stereotype men in the same or similar ways. It's not that some men don't deserve the ridicule. The problem is how the new rage women work so hard and successfully to vilify the entire male gender for the behaviors of a contemptible few. Apologists excuse this on the basis of increasingly broad definitions and decreasingly accurate statistics, like the 1 in 3 women will be raped or sexually assaulted during their lifetime myth promulgated by Mary Koss and her definition of rape that is so vague that, by her definition, most men could claim they have been raped. Why do the creators of these generalizations conceive them if they're not true? Feminist apologists insist women would never say it were it not true, therefore it must be so. Dare we point out the parallel between those who are so blind to the facts that they will unhesitatingly believe any and all denunciations of members of a particular group and the Nazis? Like all true believers, the feminetics have generalized a grudge against some particular person or group of identifiable individuals in their lives. For example, as a teenager, Boogie de Meister, the big man on campus, enticed Teeny Bopper into the back seat of his raunchmobile. An ugly duckling, Miss Bopper was thrilled that a big stud like Boogie would give her the time of day, let alone plunge his sacred member between her virginal legs. But when the callow youth was done and dumped her like a used sanitary wipe, she was crushed. Her heartbreak, however, turned into a distrust of all men, and over the years her animosity found fulfillment among feminism's anti-male malcontents. Meanwhile, Boogie Meister, who is now known as B. Densmore Meister, BD to his friends, despite his growing potbelly, continues to find women just like Miss Bopper who are willing to believe his assurances that he will marry them just as soon as he can find the right moment to tell his wife, the mother of his 4 children, that he wants a divorce. And just like Miss Bopper at their fortnightly forays into misandry, they complain bitterly of the puerile nature of all men, and isn't Beatty just proof this is true? But Beatty is no more representative of all or even most men than are the women who deserve to be called child abusers, coquettes, gold diggers, wimps, liars, leeches, psychosexual terrorists, sluts, backstabbing whiners, manipulative, vulgar, vamps, tramps, cheap dates, lazy mates, mechanically challenged, ill-tempered, and ill-mannered. Whew. It's easy to blame all members of a group for the misbehavior of one or a few. What's not easy is to single out the particular men who, in some way, victimize women. First, and protests of blaming the victim notwithstanding, it requires that women take responsibility for the extent to which they contribute to their own victimization. Not all victims contribute to their own victimization, but women who date, mate, and marry domineering jerks, heroic rapists, dashing rakes, and other varieties of male sluts and abusive men do. Next, only those women who have been wronged by a particular man must decide whether they are going to get over it or get revenge. No use putting it any other way, because that's all it amounts to, revenge. Finally, treat individuals who are criminals like criminals, and either pursue positive goals like laws that enforce equal rights and responsibilities, or just leave the rest of us alone. Otherwise, who knows, men might just start negatively stereotyping women the way women negatively stereotype men. 2015, Olympia, Washington. Too late. From the beginning, feminists flew into a rage at anybody who warned against a backlash. They did their best to kill us, not with bullets, but with things like unemployment, false accusations, biased law enforcement, and more. Now, while the boomers of my generation flounder in confusion and bewilderment, each succeeding generation is growing up a little more cynical, a little more angry, and more millennial men are going their own way. MGTOW is passive resistance. See how feminists react with rage to even that. We spread the word on the net, so now they are trying to take control and, like China, censor those with whom they disagree. Progressives on both the left and the right converge in their support of this. For me, this is cause enough to get political. Maybe not for you, but it should be reason enough for you to be prepared for things to get worse before they get better. In our electronic age, it may be all but impossible to disappear. One of the commenters on my videos says bitcoins can be anonymized. That would be nice, and I hope he's right. Back to the subject of this video, is MGTOW about generalizing a grudge? It can be, but not for most of us, I think. The drama and shit testing are enough, but then you add the legal environment created by the sexist sows, and it's just not worth it. We've got better things to do. By the way, I've heard and read some debate about what motivated the second wave feminists. Creating more lesbian opportunities was a part of it. I've read accounts of National Organization for Women meetings in New York City back in the 1960s and 70s, in which some lesbian members expressed the desire to drive a wedge between women and men so that they would have more sexual opportunities. Some were sincere in their desire to create a more equitable world in which women could have the same opportunities as men, though I don't think they were thinking about also having equal responsibilities. But there are many who saw it as a means to generalize a grudge. You don't want to be like them, nor do we need to be like them. We're better than they are. That's all for now. Check out the other videos. Subscribe to the channel. For the Backlash at backlash.com. My name is Rod Van Mecklin.